Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. Aka Yomo. Today we're on Reflection 318, and I think this book is a two-part reflection. This is part one of two, and it's about an autobiography by Billie Jean King.
Yeah.
So
Do you know
it's
who
about
she is?
her.
Do you know who that is?
No,
You never heard of Billie Jean King? Okay.
I've heard of her. I just don't remember things I don't really have an interest in.
Gotcha. This is an autobiography from Billie Jean King. She's a legendary tennis player, and it's about her groundbreaking tennis career. She started the WTA tournament. She basically was like one of the first pro women's tennis players. And then she not only was she one of the best, she also was like a really big civil liberty activist, and she broke down a lot of barriers and started the WTA tour. She like organized all this stuff. She basically connected all the women together to go play and to be able to negotiate their terms and start like today Serena Williams plays on the WTA. Like it didn't exist when Billie Jean King was, early on in her career. Like she had to create this stuff. They had to create the women's tennis, professional tennis, right? So she was one of the pioneers of that, and she was also one of the best women's tennis players at the same time. And she's also in the LGBTQ community. So that was a big deal for her back then because she was living in I don't know how old she is now. She's probably in her 80s. So she was born in the 40s, right? So it was still one of those like, don't ask, don't tell kind of policies. And it was really hard for her to be the person that she wanted to be from her emotional relationships that she had in her life as well. So this is her story, her autobiography about her life. It's called All In. I was really excited to read this because I know who she is, but I didn't really know much about her. This is the reflection, is tell the truth. 4 months before I wrote this reflection, before I read this book, this is a book that I started right after Arbitrary Stupid Goal. We just did that yesterday. I remember reading this in a hotel room in New York City, right? I actually had bought this one as a pre-order because I saw it was coming out. And I was like, oh man, Billie Jean King's autobiography, this would be good. So I was excited when it came out. It came out at the same time, right as I finished Arbitrary Stupid Goal. And I was like, I'm all in, let's do this, So I was reading this book, and it just so happened 4 months before this, so this is the beginning of January of 2023, back in September of 2022, I went to my first US Open, the US Tennis Championships. It's held in New York every single year. Like this is something that was like a bucket list, lifelong, dream of mine, honestly, was to go. I don't know why I hadn't gone before. It's a really expensive trip, to be honest with you. Not that like I couldn't have afforded before, but it was just one of those things where it's just like, am I really going to go to New York, spend, 4 or 5 days out there, spend a couple $1,000s to go to a tennis tournament, or can I just go to the tennis tournament over in Cincinnati and see the same players or something like that? Or we used to have one here in Indianapolis that was like a really high caliber tennis tournament, and for my whole entire life growing up. So I always got to see pro tennis. It wasn't like I didn't have that ability to see it, but when I was younger, my parents weren't going to take me. So since I've been an adult, I don't know why. I was just like, for whatever reason, I've always wanted to do it, but it's just one of those things where I didn't do it. She bought us a full week's worth of tickets, packages to the US Open. Something came up for work. This is how lame I was before, something came up for work, and I was like, I just can't take the time off. I was like, I don't have time to go to watch a tennis tournament. And this is something I've wanted to do my whole life. My wife bought it for me for my birthday. My birthday's around this time. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing even saying that, like, what the hell am I thinking? I sold the tickets, and we sold our packages. I don't know. It sucked. It is lame. It was lame.
Like this, you wanted this thing your whole life, and it comes to your front door, and you kick it out. It's like, oh, I have to go to work.
I gotta go to work.
Going sick.
I couldn't even tell you what was so important to
you. Love to work so much.
It was something really important. I don't even know what it was.
What is that work? Remember?
No, I don't. Like, as I'm saying,
important that you don't remember what it is.
Or not going.
Company.
Yeah,
you don't even work for that company anymore, and you don't remember what you did for that company. That's how important it is.
That was, and the ironic thing is, I remember not going. I don't remember what
exactly.
I did.
You remember things that are important to you,
right?
But you don't remember a thing that's really, really important.
Right, exactly. So fast forward to September of 2022, my wife and I went to the US Open, and I was so excited. Like, it was amazing. We had a great time, loved every minute of it. I want to go as many times as I can, in the rest of my life. Actually, I've been to Wimbledon before, but that's what I'm going to do for my 40th birthday next year. We're going to go to Wimbledon for my birthday because it's around the same time. I've been to Wimbledon before, but I haven't been to the tournament. So I want to go to that tournament and then hopefully get to the French Open and the Australian Open someday. That'll be like bucket list activities, go to Paris and Melbourne and see, round out the circus. So we're leaving the hotel in Manhattan, get in this Uber, and I punch in Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, right? Like at that time, I was like, I know who Billie Jean King is. Like everybody knows that's a tennis fan knows who Billie Jean King is. But our national tennis center is named after Billie Jean King, right? And she's a really influential person in the tennis community. But I was like, I don't know anything about her, to be honest with you, other than she's a great tennis player and she's a lesbian. That was the only two things that I knew about Billie Jean King, right? I didn't grow up in her era. I never saw her play tennis. All I knew was, she was a legend. It's like if, Luca, when he grows up, he'll hear the name Tom Brady or whatever. He'll never know why Tom Brady. He'll just know Tom Brady, but he'll never know why Tom Brady. Yeah,
Who's Tom Brady?
Like we hear like Joe Montana or like Johnny Unitas or something like that now. You're like, oh yeah, I know who Johnny Unitas is, but I don't know anything about Johnny Unitas, and I don't know shit about him, other than he's Johnny Unitas and he played for the Colts, right? So that's kind of how Billie Jean King is to me from like a tennis player community kind of thing. The reason why I'm sharing this like precursor to this whole thing is now after 4 months, fast forward 4 months later, I finished her book. And now as I look back on that time when I went to the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, I'm really proud. She broke down so many barriers. She's lived an incredible life. She's a fighter, man. She fought for everything that she's ever gotten in her entire life. She's a pretty amazing, inspiring person. Next time when I go, I'm going to the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. This lady is awesome. She has a little quote on center court, on Arthur Ashe Court, which is the big stadium at the US Open National Tennis Center. It says, pressure is a privilege, right? As you walk onto the court, Billie Jean King, like all the players walk by it, and they see it every single time. They make a big little thing about it. And that's pretty cool. I mean, pretty cool person, right? So now onto that reflection itself. So what do I mean by tell the truth? So the thing with Billie Jean King is the only thing I could ever think of the entire time she was telling the story about her life was, if you bring forth within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you, right? So that's a quote that we've heard from Reflections Past. And that was all I could think about when I was hearing her story. Her entire life, this girl fought for everything. And she fought for so many other people too. But the one thing that she never really fought for was herself and her ability to be herself. She fought herself her whole entire life, and she would not let herself bring herself out for the world to see. And it almost destroyed her. Even though she was on the surface, on the outside, she looked like this person that was, had a great life. She was the first woman ever to make like over $100,000 a year in professional sports. She was making more money than Reggie Jackson, the baseball player at the time. And they were like, damn, this girl's she created equal prize money at the US Open. She was a part of all that stuff. Like she fought for all the things that the professional women's tennis tour has today, which I mean, they make a shitload of money, and they're very like, it's probably one of the only sports that is as close to or equal to from a monetary ability and exposure is tennis, right? Like, I mean, by far, tell me the most famous tennis players you know.
Andre Agassi.
Yeah, I mean, name off the most famous tennis players you know.
Like I don't know any other ones other than the modern one, right? Novak, right?
Sure.
I mean, basically the guy we talk about every day. What else is there?
Serena Williams.
Tough.
You don't know Serena Williams? Oh man, she's probably a bigger star than Novak. Venus Williams, her sister. She's she had her heights that she scaled to. Then you have like other really famous women that are Maria Sharapova. Anyway, my point being is like there are incredibly famous women's tennis players that make a shitload of money, and that's because of Billie Jean King. So she fought for all of these people and all of their rights to be able to do what they're able to do. But the one person she kept neglecting all along was herself, right? And it was really about her sexuality. She just refused to let anybody in on that. She actually married a dude that kind of had like she loved him, but she didn't really love him. She always knew that it was they both kind of always knew that it wasn't really like a good fit. And she started relationships with women. She would hide it. She would lie. She would do whatever. It ended up coming out and blowing up in her face. She then started binge eating really bad. All these things started to compound of keeping what's in her.
Eating the frog. When you expect it, you're not going to say, hey, I'm going to thrive eating the fucking frog every day. And that's what she's doing. She's stuffing that frog down her throat.
It was destroying her. Yeah, I mean, it was literally destroying her. She was mentally
tart cherry juice.
Yeah, exactly. She was like,
I got to get about 16 ounces a day.
Pretty much. I mean, talk about eating the frog and stupidity. But yeah, no, she was mentally.
It's good
destroyed,
for you, Chris. It's good for
destroyed.
you. Cherry chart is good for you. It tastes good. Drink it.
It did have some benefits.
One more go.
My shoulder filter feels great. No, but in all seriousness, like she was mentally broken, she was physically broken, she was emotionally broken.
I don't know who wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I don't know who wouldn't be. Who wouldn't be like it's you're going to be like so much pressure just to be somebody who you are not meant to be.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it's just like I said, I feel her. I feel for this lady. I mean, I don't know her, but based on what I hear, it's like it's basically she is trying to squeeze her little self inside and squeeze it down so that no one can see it. Right?
Yep.
That is, it's a lot of
Painful.
pressure.
It's painful.
It's misery and pain.
It is. So this is why the reflection is to tell the truth. All I could think of the entire time was like, just the truth always will set you free. Just tell the truth. The more that you get, it goes back to that whole like Sam Harris lying book, like the only person you can lie to is yourself, right? And you start to think, what is truth, right? Like we talk about this all the time. Like we don't know anything, so there's no truth. Well, wrong. I say that is wrong because there is one truth that every single day.
Well, there's there's no universal truth, but there is relative truth, which is your perspective from
your
what
perspective
you do.
Is your truth. Exactly. How you feel inside every single day when you wake up or when you perform the actions and activities and whatever you do when you're going about your life, how you feel. Like that is true. Whatever that feeling is, it is the truth, right? Like you can't just disregard it. It doesn't just go away. As a matter of fact, the more that you try to put it off and lie to yourself that, that's not how I actually feel, it'll eventually just explode and it'll create anxiety attacks, health problems, mental health, all these horrible things.
Why do you think you have anxiety attacks?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What are anxiety attacks?
It's your body saying that
exactly
you're in a fearful state, and
your body is fighting back.
Right, exactly. I mean, it is a chemical response to you going, yes. I don't want to do this, and I'm telling you, don't do this anymore. And then it's your body like tells, it's fine. You're not going to listen to me. I'll just tell you. I'll make it happen. This is where it goes back to for me is the only person you can lie to is yourself. Tell the truth to the world. Who you are inside has to reflect who you are outside in your words and actions and deeds. Otherwise, everybody will end up in this similar situation. The longer that you put these things off, the longer you discount who you are, how you feel, and how that projects out into the world around you, like the more that you put yourself into this dilemma of it's just a ticking time bomb of whenever it's going to go off. For Billie Jean King, she's a fighter and she fought through it. And that's why she's writing this book and sharing her story and going out there and she's changed the way that she thinks and lives. And it took her a long time and a lot of eating disorders and mental anguish and all this other crap that she had to overcome to try to finally share with the world who she is. And now she's finally feels like she can be who she wants to be, and I'm very happy that she shared her story. And I hope that other people learn from that as well. So the moral of the story is tell the fucking truth. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to hear.
For me, I think I don't want to sound ungrateful for what Billie Jean did for the community and for women in general, but I feel like she have a crappy life.
Yeah, she did. I mean, she really did. Honestly, when you're listening to her story, you're like, man, right.
It's just a crappy life. I mean, the thing is, to me, what's the point of having a life if your life feels crappy and you're miserable all the time and you are like pushing and suppressing this person inside from coming out and being who that person needs to be? And to me, that is the crappiest life. I don't care what kind of achievement you have. I don't. I mean, if I were in her shoes, I don't really care what kind of achievement I have, what kind of money I make, if my life is crappy. Because it feels like she's not enjoying what or who she was.
Who she is.
So to me, like I said, I feel sorry for her by listening to her story, from you telling her story. I mean, I probably feel even more so when I read the book, but it feels like she's not allowed to be who she truly are from the inside. And to me, this is what, for me, is I've got to the point where this is all I'm focusing on today. This is all what I desire today is how can I live the person that it is who I am versus who I want to be or who I thought I want to be or who I need to be to please somebody. Because there are certain things that people will say, well, you can't be this person. You can't be like that. You can't act like this. You can't be selfish. So all these conditions and dogma that we have been given and we have taken it without even asking why. And we are trying to make ourselves become something we are not and something we don't even want. A lot of people don't want to be. Say, hey, I want. People say, hey, I want to be a leader, right? To me, this is something that grinds my gears a little bit when everybody say, hey, you have to become a leader in the traditional sense, not in the sense that you define it, but in traditional sense of, hey, you have to be
leading a team of people or
like
something like that. Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
Even if I can, I don't want to do that.
I think we've talked about this before. Like
Well,
leading,
that's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
what I'm saying is, it's not the definition that you define it. This from the traditional sense of definition is you got to be out there and be the
somebody
leader
that has followers, right?
That
like other
you
followers.
And I don't want to be responsible for other people, and that's
Right.
why for me is my style of sharing is I ask questions. I don't give you answers. I ask questions. And what do you think that it is more relevant to you? I know if I
That's the
had
best leader,
this,
by the
I
way.
do this, right? Was that?
Those are the best leaders anyway. Like leaders,
Like I
don't
say,
really
not
tell
in
you
the
anything.
sense because
Right.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you how to live your life, right?
Right.
And I know that. And to me, if I were to do that, it violates my core values. You know what I mean? So I can't really say, hey, do A, B, and C, and this is the key to success, and blah blah blah, when I don't even believe in it. I can't tell you, hey, like the thing is, do what I say, not what I do. I can't do that. It takes me 3 or 10 times more energy for me to make up a story and lie to you than to tell you the truth, even if you are sad.
It really does take up a lot of energy to lie. It does. You gotta get pretty creative to yeah, it's a good point, actually. I'd never really thought about that. How much
and to me, just like, it's not worth my time or my effort and energy to trying to make a story so that you feel good. So I don't care about you. I mean,
it's true. It's true. I mean,
in a sense, right, I do care, but in the bigger sense, I don't care, right? You know what I mean? So I care for you because I care for me. You know what I mean? You see, so the only reason why I'm talking,
right?
So the only reason why I'm talking to you is because you provide some value to me. That's why I'm talking to you. That's why I want to be as nice to you as possible, so that you don't stop talking to me. So I start receiving value. So in the end, yeah, I don't really care about you. Now the bottom line is I still care about me, because I still care about getting the value from you from the discussion we have. So like I say, I don't want to spend so much energy to please somebody, to give somebody the goody feelings of, hey, this person isn't mean or an asshole or whatever. It's like, I mean, I'm not really, in a sense, I don't go out of my way to become an asshole. I become an asshole as a result, not as a intent of, hey, I want to be a mean person. Hey, look, you put me on a spot, right? I will tell you like I see it, and it sounds like I'm an asshole. Okay, so be it. But that's the thing is, it takes so much energy to be someone else. It's just not efficient. So when you are a duck, right, it's just flawless for you to float on the water.
Right.
And if you're a beaver, you have this waterproof pelt that you have your tail, and you can be in the water all day long, and it actually makes you rejuvenate you and give you energy, versus you go to another become, hey, I'm become a wolf or whatever. You can't. You have a little stout, short, little paws and legs and whatever. You can't do what a wolf does. You can't fly like an eagle. So it takes like tremendously so much more energy to become somebody, and to completely shun the person who you are. To me, it is the most cruel thing you can do to a person.
It really is. Like, it's probably, I don't know how scientifically you could prove this. I don't really give a shit. Honestly, like, a lot of times I feel like science is, it's important, but it's also bullshit. Because, like, we all know a lot of how these things feel. Like, I don't really need somebody to scientifically point out the chemical neuron or the neural pathways that are triggering. Like, I fucking know what's being triggered. If I just listen to myself, and stop, right? Like, I don't need you to tell me what's going on in my, like, we've talked about this before, when you're going to sleep, right? And they say is it adaleucin or whatever, and yeah, is that what's called, adaleucin? And
yeah, Sounds
Yeah,
about right.
whatever that stuff is that attaches to your neuroreceptors and it makes you want to go to sleep or not, right? And like caffeine blocks that. Like describing biologically, I know you're a chemist, like and I'm sure these things matter and everything, but like all that stuff just sounds like Star Wars to me. It's like I just made some shit up, and like Yoda came and used the Force, and they had like blah 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 blah. I don't really care. You can explain whatever you want to explain. You can tell whatever story you want to tell. What you think is going on, and try to connect the dots for yourself scientifically. But the truth of the matter is like, I know, like, I don't feel as tired when I drink a cup of coffee. Like, I don't care how it fucking works or doesn't work. I don't feel as tired. Like, like I know when I don't tell, the truth to somebody, or when I spend a whole lot of time, a lot of energy lying to somebody, it makes me feel miserable. I know when I'm doing work that I fucking hate, like how grouchy and annoying and mean I get, with other people. Like, I know it. Like I can feel it, I can see it, I can hear it, I can, and if all I got to do is check in with myself for 5 minutes, I'm going to go, yeah, I'm not very happy right now. Thanks, body, thanks mind for telling me that is the case. Can I change that? Yes, I can. Like, if you just spend a little bit of time checking in on that, you can change that, and thanks for the signal. I will listen to this, but we just never listen to ourselves. Like, that is the fucking weirdest thing ever. Like, the one person you should listen to all of your life is your emotions and your physical, whatever the chemicals and chemistry that's going on.
It's there for a reason,
Like, it's telling you stuff.
Hey, I'm telling you, hey, you
check
reach
engine lights on.
threshold. This is check engine light. You got to make sure that, hey, you got to solve the problem. There's a problem here. That's what I'm telling you. Right. But everybody say, no, you can't do that.
It's fine, fine. You got another 20 miles. Jerry, you ever watch Seinfeld? I didn't watch a ton of Seinfeld, but I remember this one particular episode. Kramer was driving in his car, and he got down to the zero on the E on his tank, and he was right. You know what I'm talking about? Where he's like, let's just keep going, man. Let's see how far we keep going. And it was like exhilarating to them. They're like, oh my God, we're like, it's been like 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever. And they're like, it's on E. I don't know how much longer we can go. Like, it's not fun. It's not exhilarating. Like, if you were just playing a game and you were trying to say like, oh man, I feel miserable. I got an eating disorder. I feel like I can't share with the world, whatever I want to share, and I'm depressed.
Well, it is. Continue to endure the chronic disease and the daycare petri dish. Like, just endure it. Hey, this is the way it is. This is how life is. And you have to follow the norm, right? Everybody does it. It's common, right? This is the way life is. And that's the thing is, we have become somebody else. The whole society today, we have become somebody else. Because one of the things, like, before we got onto this, we talk about telling the truth, right? And I get so pissed off at the people being politically correct and saying, I can't say this, I can't say that. Who told me I can't do that? Some minority say, well, I'm offended by you say, hey, happy Merry Christmas, because I'm not, I didn't make you say it. I'm saying it. Why are you making me stop saying it? Because it's my religion, and you're telling me that I have the freedom of religion, but I can't tell you, I can't say Merry Christmas. So I don't force you to practice my religion. Why are you forcing me not to practice my religion? And all these things make people become somebody they're not. And you imagine going forward, we are so constrained in what we do, what we say, how we act, what we eat, right? Who are we then? I'm
bringing this up, and by the way, I have no dog in this fight. I really don't care. I just happened to see this article on Yahoo because I stopped going on Facebook, and I stopped going on all social media because I deleted all my apps. That was like a monthly challenge, like maybe 4 or 5 months ago or whatever. And like, I still don't have it on my phone, so I rarely ever see it. But now I'm addicted to Yahoo. I just funneled it into other things. I was on Yahoo, and this article came up right before I got on this call with you. And I saw this, like what you said, people telling you what to think, like, repeat after us, these words, right? I don't care what J.K. Rowling has to say or not say about this, but she doesn't really need to get on here and publicly do this. I think she's just doing this to maybe for a bigger issue. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But like, in a weird way, it's kind of right. Like, fine, you can feel however you want to feel. Like, I'm not saying I have any dog in this fight.
Don't make me feel the same way you do.
But don't repeat after me. I'm not your child. Like, you can't be like, hey, repeat after me. Whenever you cross the street, you have to look both ways and make blah 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 blah. You're not my fucking parent. You can tell me I don't give a shit what you think. I really don't. I don't want to repeat after you, because if I'm repeating after you, I'm not repeating after me.
Exactly.
And like that's I happened to see that earlier today, and I saw repeat after me, and like, no, I'm not going to repeat after anybody. Maybe I'll make the decision that that is what I believe, and I'll repeat after me at that point in time. And yes, it'll be influenced by other factors, and I'll make my own decisions. But like, don't tell people what to say. That is not, you can't do that. And if you do that, you end up in situations like Billie Jean King was told not to tell anybody in the world that she was gay and liked women, right? Like, she listened to them and it destroyed her, right? If J.K. Rowling doesn't want to believe that, then she can get on there and say, no, I'm not gonna repeat after you. Like, fuck you. If that's what you feel.
But
say,
it's not my fight.
It's fine.
Because the thing is,
Right.
you're not fighting for me. Why am I fighting for you, right? Because the thing is, you have to understand, right? I don't care, right? For me personally, I don't care what kind of achievement I do for you. If my life is fucking miserable, there is no point in having a life. And for you ask yourself the same question. You doing this, right? Are you enjoying your life, or is it making you miserable? Because to me, if you are telling me, hey, I'm a fish, right? And you say, hey, compete with a monkey to climb a tree, and then you shun me for not being able to climb a tree, then I say, this guy is retarded, right? Because he can't fucking climb a tree. And this monkey here is the king, right? Repeat after me. You know, you gotta climb a tree. So to me, like, think about it. Think about what I just said, right? Billie Jean King, right? To me, if I had her life, it is the crappiest life that I would ever imagine, because you are basically shun who you are. And to me, I mean, I don't know how people feel, but the way I feel based on my experience and based on what I've gone through in my life, I can't be that person. Let's say I'm an introvert.
Nobody should be that way.
Right? And you tell me I have to go out there and be like Chris and talk all the time and entertain people and make up stories and all that. That is like tremendously 10x, 100x the effort.
These are all real stories.
No, not make up story, but
I know,
like
share a story.
Orchestrate facts into a story like Bill Bryson would, right?
right. No,
that's what I mean. Well, you gotta correct me in saying, because
I know what you were saying.
I know what you're referring to, but it's about the ability of a person to take information and orchestrate it like a piece of music or a great book, right? I can write grammatically correct, and I can write as many words as anyone, and try even more. But my book is gonna be suck because it didn't have any substance.
Words.
And so you think about making me do that. So imagine yourself, whatever it is you hate the most, whether it's doing taxes, for example, you have to do like, 100 people's tax. That's your job. Think about that. How miserable would your life would be?
Mine personally, I mean, I would blow my brains out. Sure, I can't think of a worse profession for me personally than being a tax professional.
Everybody has something that they don't want to do. It's not that you can't do. It's just that for you, it's just not who you are. So you think about what I mean when I say, okay, Billie Jean King. Okay, imagine like you are her, and imagine that whatever profession that you hate the most, doing taxes. Imagine doing that for, I don't know, 50 years of your life, right? You think about that. Because for me, I dread about taxes every fucking years, and all I have to do is collect fucking receipts and telling my CPA what I need.
It's worse than this, Drew. And here's why. It's not just about hating your job and not having meaningful work. It's when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm so exhausted. I got a shitty night's sleep the night before. My health is deteriorated. I'm fucking exhausted the next day. I drag my ass the entire day. By the time I get home, I don't have any energy to go to the gym or work out because I'm just so fucking tired. I fight with my family. I probably get a divorce. I then just start eating all the time because I'm like, well, I hate doing all this stuff.
What I do is when I do taxes, like it takes me a whole entire month to collect all the information to pass on to a bookkeeper and pass on CPA. And during that time, I go and look at my computer for a little bit. I download my bank statement and I grab something, right? I'm chowing down and I do so little work. And my whole entire memory and existence of that is the thing that I shudder at the thought of it. So you think about doing
it's the compound effect of bad shit. Right.
put it in Billie Jean's shoes times 100 times 50 years. You think about that, and so to me, this is when I say that it's a crappy life.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of, I mean, yes, she have, give women and other organizations and
she did so
the
much for
world.
so many other people. Honestly, I think that was her only saving grace personally for herself, where she was like, I feel like I'm helping other people, so
maybe
I can
she needs something to distract her from the misery.
I think that was like her way to balance out like the equation a little bit,
and that's maybe why she has so much energy, is because the energy over here, it is so much more frightening that she would rather spend time and go through all these things than to go and tell you the truth.
It was a distraction,
right?
It was a pure distraction. This was an overarching theme for her entire life, from a really young age, of overeating, and then also the whole sexuality thing.
Things that she's not being herself, so you have to do other things.
Right?
Do you want that kind of life? That's all I'm asking. I'm not telling you what is good and what's bad, or yes or no to anything. I'm actually asking for you. Say, imagine you in relative to Billie Jean King. It's like if you had to become this tax professional, in my case, or whoever your nemesis is, right? Let's say you play tennis, right? And for her, like let's say you love to play tennis, player, and you want and you cannot tell people, you cannot even practice tennis that that people are going to see you, right? So you can't even play your favorite sport, being your favorite self. You go out there and you become a taxman, right? So imagine you, Chris, right? You love tennis. Let's pretend that is your whole entire existence. You love tennis, and you need to play tennis at least like once a day for a couple hours a day. Imagine that's who you whole character, that you need to have to do that, but for your whole entire 50 years, you cannot even show people that you are going to play tennis, or show that you love to play tennis, or even say, hey, I know what tennis is. You are not to say any of those, and you are forbidden from even playing, that people can see you.
Yeah, from where people can see me. Yeah, right.
The thing is, so even if you can play, where can you play that?
It's like hide out with a mysterious, hideaway tennis court so that nobody would ever know about it.
It's like almost like non-existence.
It's hard.
Almost non-existence in her time, right?
Right.
And so she has completely almost give up that piece of herself, of yourself, to become the tax man, right? You cannot play tennis at all. And even you find a tennis in a cave somewhere, you play by your fucking self, or maybe some I don't know,
random other exile.
Imagine that. Because the thing is, she can't talk about it. She can't act on her feelings, and she can't go and grab other people's head. We should go to this cave together. You can, because that's a risk that she takes, right? She can't do that. So imagine you as a Chris, a tennis player who cannot play tennis anywhere, and go become a taxman for 50 years. That is so awful.
So it's torturous. I mean, if there's one main theme to this whole entire journey, it's always been, find out who you are and do it on purpose, right? And like that's that. I mean, it is mind blowing to me now on the back, or not back. That's a bad word. On the, and as we continue to go under this journey, together, and I look back of everything that we've come from, where we've come from, like probably the most fundamental, easiest thing that anybody can do at any point in time is to check in with themselves every single day and just ask, am I doing what I like to do or not? Right? Like whether or not you continue to go make that decision of going to do stuff you like to do, at least I'm at least going, okay, I'm not liking this, I'm going to go spend time to reflect on something, right? Nobody ever fucking stops. And I don't mean this to say like, like this is some, it's the easiest thing in the world that anybody can do. Like the easiest thing. Just spend 10 minutes.
It's the natural thing for us to do, but for whatever reason, we have been conditioned and taught and looked and frowned upon for us to do that. Do you think about what I keep saying to people? It's like when people see me on this video, they say, "Hey, that fucking dude is an asshole," because all he fucking think is about himself. He don't think about it. He told Chris that, hey, he don't care about Chris. But
that's not what you said.
But it is what I say.
No. That's not what you said. You said I like as long as I can get value out of this, then I'll be here.
the
And you said the
reason,
same. You give
the
me
bottom
value.
line, the bottom line is I care about myself more
Of course.
because I get information from Chris. That is why I care for Chris, so I care for myself. But that is the ultimate, that's the bottom line. But you look at what I'm saying is, I'm saying what I say on the surface, right? On the surface is I'm a selfish person and I don't care about Chris.
It goes the other way around too. Like I care about
But
this
that's what I'm
conversation because I
saying
get to
is,
share.
so you and I understand that my association with you, it goes both ways. We provide, just like we'll be talking about, you and I get stuck in the well. We both benefit from pushing our back against each other to climb. We both benefit. And that is it. So why are you pushing, if you look at one perspective, why am I pushing my back against your back? So I can climb out. That is one perspective. The other perspective is I'm also helping Chris climb out as well because he's helping me. So that is the synergy between the symbiosis of the company and the dynamics of all these things that we do. But on the surface, if you look on the surface alone, right, you look at this guy who's talking nonsense about blah blah blah, and all he does is selfish, and all he's just an asshole, right? Because that's what people see, and they say, "Hey, don't be like that guy. Don't." You have to put forth first. Hey, go out there and help people. Go out there and help people. Give first.
That's not
blah
how
blah.
It starts. It's fill up your own dam first, and then when you're full, let it trickle out. Like
exactly.
1000%.
But the thing is, that's not what you're taught.
No.
You go ask any fucking gurus out there and say you got to give first for you to receive, right?
I don't believe that.
Right. So to me, it isn't that or another. It's about naturally who are you inclined to be, and who can you find a person that has the thing that you need. Just like any compound, right? Any molecules, right? You have something they need, and they have something you need, and you create a connection. And to me, you have to search out that pieces.
You can't search that out unless you know yourself first.
Exactly.
And you can't know yourself first unless you check in with yourself every day. Like I mean, like it's like if Billie Jean King, when she was 20 years old, would have checked in with herself every single day, I guarantee she would have stopped the charade, 40 years before, she did it. Because she eventually started checking in with herself. She went to, well, a lot of people go to therapy, like, and stuff like that. Well, she ended up going to therapy to check in with herself. That's how modern day people check in with themselves. It's like modern day people, when they exercise, they go to the gym. It's like, you don't need to go to the gym to exercise. I think we all understand that, right? Like, I mean, we all know this, correct? Like, there's an outdoors, and there's you can just go run.
You can do it home. You can do it home.
Or you could do push-ups right in front of the floor right here. You could go pick up all the random shit you have in your house and throw it around if you want to throw around weights or something like that. You do not need to go to the gym. But modern day people tell us if you're going to go exercise, you need to go to the gym, right? So you got to make sure you carve out time to go to the gym for 2 hours a day. That's stupid. But fine, if that's where you exercise, that's where you exercise. Modern day people also tell you if you're going to check in with yourself, you need to go to the therapist.
In the last book, he was talking about a guy who goes to the airport and all the luggages, and he have this bellboy, bellhop, or whatever, carry everything. He carries nothing, and then he goes to the gym. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So the thing is,
the Stairmaster to go to the Stairmaster, and you're like you
take the elevator to go to the Stairmaster.
Right.
Hey, you go to the gym, right? And you go on to the Stairmaster.
Right.
And to me,
let's go on the stairs.
This is what society has put us in a corner.
I know, it's so insane. Like, I remember when Felicia was in the hospital with Luca, and first things first, right? I don't let obstacles get in the way of me and Amelia spending time together doing stuff that we love to do. So I couldn't leave the hospital. I didn't want to leave Felicia, but I didn't need to be by her side for 24/7 or something like that. I mean, like, doctors were there. I just didn't want to leave the hospital as she was in a precarious situation. So I put my headphones in. I walked around the hospital for 35 minutes and I climbed stairs all over the hospital. That was how I got my workout in on those days. Like, it'd be weird if I was just running around the hospital. People would be like, that's weird. Like, all right, fine. I'll just go do laps around the whole hospital. And every time I got to a stairwell, I ran up and down the stairs. Nobody was ever in there. And like came back to the room, did some push-ups or something along those lines. I got a workout in, right? Like, my point being is like, it's like, I feel like our creativity gets so like limited. We're like,
it gets to the point where today we have smartphones, right? The smartphone makes dumb people.
It does. Yeah.
Dumb people have smartphone, right? And smart people have dumb phone, because the thing is, I don't need you to tell me how to do things. I can do them. Right. Like, hey, how much, if I need to do math in my head to do some numbers and so, if I give you some money and need some change back, I can do in my head, right? If you know what I mean? If I know my reading a map and look at the sun and see where I'm at, I don't need Google to tell me, hey, this is where I'm at, right?
Yeah, right.
And so that's the thing is, society have put us in a corner and completely created a new species and kind of forced us from a square peg into a round hole sort of thing, right? We are not who we are. We are not the kind of person that we are. We are told to be somebody. We are told to be a leader. We are told to be a follower, and we are told to be obedient when we're told to be independent, right? We are taught to be independent in school, but then we are taught to be obeyed.
Repeat after me.
Exactly. So the thing is, I don't even know who I am if I go through this training. This is life training, and society trained us for this. I see in my kids, it's like they tell you to be independent. They tell you to have initiative, but they say, hey, you cannot get out of line. You have to be in your seat. You have to do the work the way I showed you, not a different way. Even if it's correct, you still can't do it. Tell me, show me your creativity, show me initiative, but then no, do the way I asked you to do. Like turn both left and right at the same time. This is what my mind is thinking. Hey, go left and go right at the same time.
Right.
That is what I taught in school.
If you, I think you said it perfectly, man. Like I went to the principal's office, I feel like every damn day, or I got in trouble every damn day in school because, like, I did the exact same thing that you're talking about, where I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and I'm gonna give you your grade, so you leave me the fuck alone.
And then you go to college, and it asks you, hey, what did you do that is extraordinary? Say, fuck it. You told me not to do anything extraordinary. Then you ask me in college, say, what did you do that's extraordinary? What did you do is above and beyond? It's like, and then you go to corporate job, right? They tell you follow the order. You don't get you have to do exactly. Don't do more, do less. Then it comes performance staff. What did you do extraordinary? That is above and beyond the cause of duty. It's like, fuck.
You told me this is what you told me to do. You're bringing up like all kinds of bad memories of leading teams of people, where I have to fill out whether they have medium. I was just doing performance reviews yesterday because I have to check the box, right? And I have to write down if they have medium, low, or high potential. And I'm like, well, fuck, I don't fucking know. Like, I mean, like, that's up to them. Like, what do I say? Oh, this guy has high potential written all over him. So then I'm going to invest more time and resources into him. The truth is, like, the people that we see.
The thing is, am I a fucking recruiter? Why are you asking me where this guy has a high level potential?
Everybody has a high level of potential.
You're in sales, right? You're in sales. Your expertise in subject matter expert is how do I convince people, how to understand somebody's needs, and how do I, fulfill the solutions to the problem and understand truly what they need versus, I am a judge of character. I see that guy is a medium potential. This guy is
just a medium,
a medium, below medium. It's like, are you high? Did you hire me to do that? Right.
Well, I mean, the irony of all ironies is everyone in theory has high potential in the right environment, in the right place, in what they like to do and what they love to do, right? What they should really ask me is, does this person love their job? And I will say yes. And there's a high corollary between the same people I would say has high potential. One of my employees, James, loves his job, right? And it shows with his work. I don't have to coach him. I don't have to teach him. He takes initiative. He does all these things. He lives all of our values just because he likes it. He's in the right environment, doing the right job. He loves what he's doing. He has high potential, but he doesn't have more potential than anybody else in my team. He just happens to be in the right job, doing the right stuff at the right place, in the right environment, and everything is aligned. And he has momentum in that, right? I have multiple other employees that are like that. Every other employee that I haven't had like that, like I've told them, like, I don't think that you love this job. And then I've gotten rid of them. They agree with me. I mean, like, I don't think that like any of them are going, yeah, I too love this job. Chris, I love this job more than anything in the world. And I swear to you, I'm going to get better at it. If they told me that and then they didn't do it, they don't love the job. Your actions are the reality of what is going on. Billie Jean King, her actions, when you deny the reality, it doesn't align. You can't deny the reality. You could try to fight it all day long. This is why it says tell the truth. If you don't like the job, just tell me.
The more miserable you become.
Right. Don't do it. Like, I mean, I know this sounds super simple and simplistic and like, what do you want me to do, Chris? Just quit my job every time I feel like I don't like it? And I'm like, no, you need to check in with yourself multiple times. Every single time that you go, is this a line? And you're like, no. But then you wait another day and you ask again, does it align? No. Does it align? No. Does it align? No. Fine. A couple weeks later, you should at least be able to go, I don't think this aligns. You know what I mean?
The thing is, Chris, it doesn't take that much energy.
No.
Because all you have to do is ask yourself the first question, right? And then it's going to just like you know how it triggers the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. It makes it continue to move on, because if you ask yourself the first time, you're gonna wonder the second time, and then the third time, and then the fourth time. This is how you and I got on this journey. It's not like, oh, you and I received some kind of divine grace all at once. Right. You know what I mean? Because we say, well, so for you, it's like you got to the point where your daughter just died. You have no idea where you're going, and all the things that you have done so far up to that point means nothing to you. The only choice you have is to sit and think, right? Okay, what would Amelia do, right? What Amelia wants me to do?
What did she teach me?
And that was the spark of the fire that leads you to where you are today. So similar to, for me, it's the same thing. Is I've done this entrepreneurship and I run this business, and I basically exhaust myself. And I said, this life sucks. This life is miserable, and I just let it crash and burn. And then you and I get together, and you essentially spark the question in me as well. I say, okay, we need to think about what it is that we want to do, right? And that question triggers, cascade another question. Say, okay, I don't want this. What do I want? Do I want that? And I say, well, I think I might want that. And you ask another question. But I think it starts at first thing is the first question you ask.
Yeah.
Right? You need to truly ask it, and not ask it for the sake of asking. Ask it truly, because if you don't do that, the rest doesn't matter, because you did it for the sake of doing it. But you do it because you really want the answer, right? Because the first question and the potential answer you give yourself isn't an answer. You will continue to search for a second, a third, until you find an answer that you are satisfied with. And I think that is all it requires. It's the first time. Truly, like, honestly with yourself, ask yourself the question is, who am I supposed to be? And what do I really want?
Right. Not just one time, like every day. It's got to be every day.
My point is, Chris, you only ask one time truthfully, because the first question you ask won't give you the answer you need. It will prompt you to ask the second question, the third question, the fourth question, and keep asking. Because you and I are on this journey looking for the answer to that one question, one beautiful question, and we are still looking for it. I think we have gathered more pieces of puzzle and data points as we are going. We are continue on that, and we'll continue to ask ourselves the same question every single time, and we get more data point as we ask the question. But we have asked the same question thousands of times already, but it starts from one question, right? It's not like I said, it's not like you and I got a divine data dump, a brain dump of all these things, and now we say, oh, this guy has so many questions, he's going to answer all these things.
But no, we did. We all have the ability to question, and we all have the ability to.
No, I'm talking about a data dump of all the questions. Only one question is needed to start.
Right. It's the simplest thing in the world, and it's really just having a conversation with yourself, and then that might lead to a conversation with somebody else eventually, because that's what it did.
Because answers. So you and I are on this call because I want to find answers, and you want to find answers, and you and I are trying to, hash it out, figure out, okay, what are we asking ourselves, and what are the answers you do? I see this answer, and it's actually more than 3 years. Because we started in August of 2020.
Yeah, I mean,
it's almost November of 2023.
Right.
Can you imagine that?
It is pretty wild. I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing, honestly. And we're not stopping anytime soon, because I think we both realize the power of questioning our own lives and trying to figure out what we want to do. The meandering.
And the point is, I don't want it to stop.
I don't either. Why would you? Once you start questioning things, there is no end, right? It reminds me of a quote that Einstein had of, if you gave me an hour to solve a problem, I'm going to spend the first 55 minutes trying to ask the right question, right? Yeah. And then once I have the right question, then I can spend the last 5 minutes solving the problem. We're getting there. Yeah. If you remember back to our first...
It's the questioning, it's the understanding of the problem, right? Because the thing is, like we said, you can say, hey, I can go really fast, but you're on the wrong fucking bus. Well, it doesn't help you. Right. And so you answer, so you're trying to collect answers, right? But the answer is not relevant to the questions you want to know. Right. So don't try to collect answers. And everybody's trying to collect answers. Give me blueprint for this. Give me the goal. Give me the plan. Give me, the key. Give me, blah, blah, blah. Right. Nobody's asking. Nobody's asking. Okay, what questions you asking?
No, there's not a single person that has ever done anything of value in this world that was given the answer by somebody else. They found it. They figured it out. They went down the road themselves. You want the key? Go ask questions and keep asking questions. That's the key. There you go. Talk to yourself. So, all right, we got to put a pin on this one. We're way over time. All right, the question we can leave for everybody else is, yeah, exactly. Shocking. Are you brave enough to share all of yourself with the world, right? Like, or are you brave enough to even ask that first question? And we could change that after this conversation. It's easy. Just go sit in a chair and fucking ask questions yourself. Like, and talk to yourself for 10 minutes. Maybe do it through a writing form. I don't care what you
don't do it with a bias. That's what I'm saying is we are being conditioned to be biased because, hey, I'm sitting in this chair and it's not the norm for me to ask myself this question, right? So don't take the bias, right? You're gonna judge me basically by what I say, which is really against the grain of what society has been teaching you, teaching me, teaching everybody, right? It's not just you. Society has to teach me to behave in a certain way, to think in a certain way, and when I do that, it's out of the norm. It feels weird, and when you do that, right? You take that bias with you. You will never take it in the spirit of asking the question to yourself, right? Just imagine yourself doing something different. Like let's say you put your hand together, right? You put it in the same pattern every time. Your right hand over your left, right? You do that and then reverse it. It feels weird, right? Because it's not the norm. And when you do that, hey, something's wrong. But that's the thing is you have to let go of that bias and ask the question truthfully to yourself. You don't have to ask it to anyone, but truthfully to yourself. If you don't do that, it doesn't work.
Agreed.
Start with that.
I agree. You got to start somewhere. So why not now? Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining. And thanks as always. That was fun. And we'll see you all on Monday.
Yep. Stay tuned for part 2 of 2.
Got it.